So I said, I talked to men on the phone, don't know if I still feel alone. I've been out for 5 years, don't know if I really want to take it. My little sis shed tears, she mad at me, I hope she make it.
Okay, you're gonna have to slow down.
Okay.
I know you're trying to get into your deal, but the court board's gotta keep up with it.
Yes, sir. I said, I talked to men on the phone, don't know if I still feel alone. I've been out for 5 years, don't know if I really want to take it. My little sis shed tears because she mad at me, I hope she make it. I said that because after my sister told me my father had a baby with my brother baby mama, at first, when she told me that, I was mad. I couldn't accept it, but she couldn't accept it either, but she told me that.
So let me stop you there. What sister are you talking about?
LaWanda Brown.
And LaWanda, does she have an Instagram handle that is IONNOO?
I don't know Team Instagram.
You know. And so explain to the jury what you're talking about, that LaWanda was mad at you.
I said, my little sis shed tears, she mad at me, I hope she make it. I said, my little sis shed tears, she mad at me, I hope she make it. She told me, like, when she told me, I was crying on the phone, and I started telling her, like, I can't accept that, I'm not accepting that little girl. And forgive me. I know it's a little girl, but I said, that little girl. Excuse my language, mama.
And so you killed people?
Man, somebody try to kill me, I'm gonna kill them. Somebody hurt my family, I'm gonna kill them. Kill them.
I'm asking you, have you killed someone?
Yeah, I never killed nobody in my life. Kill them.
I'm asking you, have you killed someone?
Yeah, I never killed nobody in my life.
I'm asking you, have you killed someone?
Yeah, I never killed nobody in my life.
Gangster who stirred terror sentenced to life. The Black Chrysler 2 killing plot from jail. Fort Worth Crips gangster who stirred terror sentenced to life. The Black Chrysler 200 was parked for 11 minutes on Belcher Court as the sun lowered in the sky. A woman whose thoughts were clouded by weed was in the driver's seat. In the back, Damone Cotton was ready with a rifle that was attached to a device that would soon catch ejected casings when the cartridges flung like popcorn kernels from the gun. Through the windshield they could see across to a house in Fort Worth, near the city's southern border with Everman, where Cotton's target lived. Kevin Brown Sr., who was 47, walked with a cell phone down his driveway to a mailbox encased in a brick column and peered inside. He withdrew nothing, closed the door of the mailbox and stood beside it, the phone to his ear. The sedan's driver steered around the corner and slowed. Cotton leaned from the rear passenger side window and released a torrent of rifle fire. Brick particles floated in the air. One of the rounds tore into Brown's head. Fort Worth ISD memorializes employee killed outside elementary school. 13-year-old sentenced to 12 years for murder of Sonic employee. Fort Worth police officer arrested on domestic violence charge. Blood spread from his body stretched near where the driveway meets the street. Next door, a neighbor paused working in his yard as the car from which Cotton fired took off. Just a quick word from our sponsor.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
First, the police theorized that Kevin Brown was killed because of his son, Braylon Brown. In a sense, he was, although not in the way homicide detectives initially thought. Braylon Brown, documented by Fort Worth police as a Crips street gang member and monitored as a person connected to the Rolling 60s, one of 38 Crips sets in the city, feuded with members of other gangs and was a possible target of violence. In jail on January 25, 2022, the day of his father's killing, Braylon Brown was inaccessible, but his relatives were available to people who meant him harm. A neighbor's surveillance camera video recording of the shooting suspect's vehicle, which had rear damage, led an officer in the police department's real-time crime center to review images of license plates attached to similar vehicles spotted by a network of city-operated cameras. The registered owner then led police to the driver, Ashlyn Durham, and to Cotton. When police executed a search warrant at an apartment where Cotton lived, they found handwritten letters that detectives believed Cotton wrote to Braylon Brown. The letters suggested a friendly relationship between Cotton and Braylon Brown, and led Fort Worth police homicide detective Michael Sones to a new theory. Perhaps Braylon Brown wanted his father dead and arranged for Cotton to kill him. The slaying's motive, prosecutors argued, was found in a secret sexual relationship Kevin Brown Sr. had with Rebecca Willis, who also had such a relationship with Braylon Brown's brother Kevin Brown Jr. Willis had a child with both men. Kevin Brown Jr. was shot to death by a person whom he was robbing. Willis, who was at Kevin Brown Sr.'s side when the first officer arrived, falsely told the officer that Brown Sr. was her father. The scandalous affair, in which two men shared a name and a sex partner, meant that his father was grimy, Braylon told others. The letters from Cotton suggested the homicide's motivation was far more horrid than the initial retaliatory drive-by explanation. Detective Sones concluded that Braylon Brown, from the Tarrant County Jail, had ordered a hit on his father. In jail tablet messages and phone call records, prosecutors presented evidence they suggested showed Braylon Brown discussed in coded language how the killing was to happen and instructed a girlfriend to buy bullets and get them to Cotton. In the messages, Brown referred, for example, to a gun as a controller and ammunition as pieces of the controller. In a three-way phone call, Braylon Brown, speaking from the jail in the seconds before his father was shot to death, urged him to check the mailbox. A jury in the 396th District Court in Tarrant County on Wednesday sentenced Brown to serve life in prison. Last week, in the trial's guilt-innocence phase, it found the 22-year-old defendant guilty of murder in his father's death under the law of parties that holds a person criminally responsible for the conduct of another person if the defendant solicits, encourages, directs or aids the other person to commit an offense. The sentence appears to have ended a violent criminal spasm in Fort Worth for which law enforcement authorities allege Braylon Brown is responsible. It includes another murder and the shooting of a grandmother in her 60s as he intended to fire upon someone else. He is a hardened, violent gang member, prosecutor Katie Owens said in a closing argument in the trial's punishment phase. That's who he is. Durham, the driver of the Chrysler 200, said from the witness stand she learned that Braylon Brown paid Cotton $3,000 for the shooting. Law enforcement authorities did not seek a capital murder indictment underpinned by evidence that the victim's killing was purchased. I can't prove money was exchanged, Detective Sones testified. In the trial that took place over parts of 8 days, Owens presented evidence with Tarrant County Assistant Criminal District Attorney Matt Rivers. Steve Gaypart and Brian Epps represented Brown. The jury deliberated on the sentence for about 3.5 hours. It considered a term of between 15 and 99 years or life. Dr. Kendall Crowns, the chief Tarrant County medical examiner, conducted Kevin Brown Sr.'s autopsy. Crowns told jurors he used his fingers to push on Brown's brain to expose bullet fragments he wanted to collect. Killer rejected plea deal for 50 years. In February, Braylon Brown stood before Judge George Gallagher to announce whether he wanted to accept or decline a plea offer from the state that would cover 7 cases. Your Honor, at this time the offer is 50 years on those cases. Those would run concurrent, Prosecutor Owens said, standing near the bench. After he explained how an arrangement known as a plea in bar works, Judge Gallagher suggested it was time for Brown to decide. So do you want to take it or are you ready to go back? The other thing you need to think about is at your age this would put you back in control of your life, and it would be up to you to be able to behave in order to get parole. I can't tell you how long parole would take. I can tell you on a 50-year sentence, you've got to do 25 years flat. But you've done how long? How long have you been in jail? 2 years, Brown answered, with attorneys Epps and Brian Salvant at his side. All right. So you've got 2 years off that, you've got 2 years off that 25. So that would mean 23, potentially you'd be 45 when you get out versus I'm going to die in prison. But I can't promise you'd get out at 45. That's up to the folks in Austin. Nobody here has control over that. You're the one in control of it. If you don't get in any trouble down in prison, the likelihood is as young as you are, you'll get paroled. Brown struggled with his choice. I ain't going to lie, it's hard, he said. I'm sorry? The judge replied. I said, I ain't going to lie, it's hard, Brown said. It is hard. It is hard. I tried the case against Mr. Robinson, the judge said of Adrian Robinson, who shot to death a 17-year-old girl to win notoriety and respect within his gang and was found guilty in October 2022 of gang murder and gang deadly conduct in the rifle killing of Cheyenne Moore. I know you did, Brown said. I gave him 75, the judge said. And I think you'll hear that I'm not real, I try to be fair in punishment. But it's some bad stuff that y'all are accused of doing, Gallagher said. 25 years is a long time, the defendant replied. It is. I agree. But you're rolling the dice. And again, I'm not trying to force you to do something that you don't want to do. I'm just telling you, here's what the deal is. And I need a decision. I'm going to reject the deal, Your Honor, Brown said.